Hi, Laura Wansek here. I'm going to do a walkthrough of my 2018 Project Life album #1. So this was New Year's Day as kind of an opening page to the album, and the first week of January this year was actually the 1st through the 7th, so it was like a Project Life person's dream because it was such a clean start. Monday was the first day. So I used the Stories by the Month, I think it was the January kit, for this spread, and back here I slipped in, we do this thing at work where we get like notes on our birthday, and my birthday was the 5th, so I just thought I'd slip those in here to keep them. It's funny because this photo is actually the moment that my husband clicked purchase for a trip that we're going on soon, so interesting how this shows the passage of time. This spread uses a repeated, so this is a stamp, and then I took these icons and did them kind of in the background, and I used a masking technique with a Post-it to cut off so that there would be space for the journaling there. And I know I've talked about this in the past, but again, this idea of triangle of embellishments, that's an Ali Edwards thing, but you notice it maybe as I go through the album. I do that a lot. And repeating ideas, so there's this half circle and then these 3 little circles on top of, you know, kind of a row there. And I really love these little, I wish I could remember where these were from, these little metallic hearts. And so in terms of photography for Project Life, I think oftentimes I'll slip photos in the back if I can't decide which photos I want to do. So, you know, I'm trying to keep sort of a good range of photos, you know, different pieces of life. So like the door to my daughter's Sunday school class, a scene from work, some foods, you know, that I'm into, candid moments whenever possible. This one uses a digital kit from Brandy Kincaid. So she has monthly kits that come out on her website, theshinybits.com. And so for these cards, I added the journaling in Photoshop and then printed out the card. And then on, let's see, at least 2 of them, I added some chipboard. I was really excited about this spread because I have common things that I say, and I was really wanting to kind of incorporate some of my own voice in some of the cards in a bigger way. So obviously when I journal, that's my voice, but these are phrases that I use a lot, and I thought that it was kind of a fun way to incorporate my voice in Project Life. Because when you use scrapbook products, you're using sentiments and phrases that other people are using, which is great, but you know, I like to balance that out by sharing some of the things that I use and the phrases that I use. Food again. I think food is one of the trickiest things to photograph because if you don't do like natural light, it can look disgusting. So food is tricky for sure. This all uses Elle's Studio, and again, repeating. I love these little vellum circles. Those are so cute. Mini horses at work. So cool. And then I didn't do a lot of inserts in this album in the way that I have in past years, but typically if I do an insert, it's because I don't want to make it a whole page for her other album. I just want to include an event in an easier way. So typically inserts are events. So this was us going to an event for children and instruments, and then this was an event going to the Finlay Market in Cincinnati. So that's typically why I include inserts. But when I'm designing the full spread, I'm not even thinking about the insert and whether it matches. I'm just looking at this. And then the insert's sort of an afterthought. So this week was the week that I did Week in the Life. And I think a lot of people have different ways that they manage Project Life if they do Week in the Life. So for me, I do a theme spread. So like last year I did all the food that I ate, or like I did a dinner each day or something like that. And so for this year, I just did different pieces of Ellie's development right now. So I did like the way she writes her name, the way she draws our family, her handprint, did her name again, and then she traced her hand, the way she draws her friends, and then I did a little interview with her, asked her a few questions. And I don't know if I'll do this again next year and ask the same questions, or I don't know what I'll do, but I like the way that this turned out. And it's interesting because my typical format for Project Life is the reverse of this spread. So typically all of this is going to be the journaling and cards, and all of this is going to be the photos. And I did it the reverse for this, and I thought it was kind of cool the way that turned out. This one uses the May digital kit from Ali Edwards, and I just loved the way all the colors went together. I love when the colors of your life sort of match a kit. It's like a happy little accident. And I just love including food, because how yummy do those homemade tamales look? This was a week where we were mostly gone. And so pretty much, I think actually every photo on this spread is actually, except for her at school right here, is us being on our trip. Oh, it was a weekend getaway. So I think I actually didn't take any photos during the week other than this photo, which is pretty rare for me, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, there are no rules, right? So that worked out nicely though, because then I didn't have to do a separate page in her album for these photos. It was already documented. And I think this uses the Stories by the Month kit from May. And again, inserts, well, I guess the insert here is not an event. Yeah, the rest of them are, but this one specifically was just a sweet moment she had with her teacher. Yeah. And this was an event. We saw Ariel. And then going to Dave Matthews. And this spread just kind of, sometimes when I'm all caught up on my assignments and I just kind of want to use some product that's been sitting around, I just sort of do a random conglomeration of products, and that's what this spread is. So I really like it. I feel like it's really colorful and fun, which works well with summer, because summer is typically full of like bright colors. So this is my favorite thing at the farmer's market. This is my daughter trying to sleep while we're at a store. This is my husband with my daughter at this event we went to, cleaning strawberries and blueberries with like our sink. And, you know, I think like small details like your dish cleaning brush and your soap, you know, stuff like that, I think is really interesting. This uses the digital kit that just came out, I think in June, from Ali Edwards. And some people had asked me on Instagram what paper I print on. So all of the yes cards, those are all on photo paper, but actually this one, and this one are all on white cardstock, and so are these little embellishments. And I don't know if you can tell in the video, but in real life you can tell these are a lot richer in color, the yeses, but I think it's fine. I mean, you know, it's fine by me. And then I kind of repeated these little triangles here. And this uses an Elle Studio kit that I think at the time I'm filming this, it hasn't come out yet, but I won't post this till it does come out. In this alphabet, you know, kind of repeating that throughout. And I love this pencil card so much. And then the last, so this event was actually for this week, but it was our 8-year anniversary. And so I just made a little page for it, so I didn't have to do another one in her album, and I thought it was a good kind of closing page for this album. And so this is July 1st, so the next album's gonna start, you know, so that's pretty much halfway through the year and half of an album. So it's good that I didn't do more inserts than I already did. So thanks so much for watching, and please be sure to ask me any questions or say anything you want me to talk more about when I do these kinds of videos in the comments, or message me on Instagram.